What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTP Ravens Media. It's been a very long time since we've gone live. I don't even know if we've gone live since the NFL season ended. Maybe we did a pre-draft live stream. We probably did a pre-draft live stream, if I'm remembering correctly. But I see Void in the chat. Shout out to Void. Nothing really specific on the agenda today. We'll probably talk some bold predictions. We may end up talking a little bit NBA draft. I don't know. A lot of sports going on, not a lot of football going on. But Joshua, how you been? How you doing today?
Man, I'm doing pretty good, man. If anybody's in the Baltimore, Milford, Mill, Renaissance area, I don't know if y'all had a power outage. I just had a power outage. Electricity came back, thank goodness. So, we back and we're live. We're moving. So,
yeah, we were not planning to go live. Hey, my power's out. And I'm like, oh no. I was like, maybe I'll do a live stream. And then he's like, it's back. And I'm like, all right, let's do
it. Like literally within minutes, back to back. But outside of that, man.
Last live was a month ago. Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay.
We're getting this crappy yellow off my screen. There we go.
I know Void plays football. Void, how's summer workouts going on? What position you play again? I remember he said he played football and everything. I don't know if it was high school or on the collegiate level.
Oh man. Well, let's see here. So Ravens news. I think kind of the biggest thing that I've seen mostly is just like free agency talk. And, obviously we'll probably do videos on these guys at some point. But, what do you think about the Ravens going after a free agent running back like Dalvin? Maybe not Dalvin. He's going to be really expensive. But like a Zeke, Leonard Fournette. Sony Michel just got picked up. So it's like, do you think we go after like a running back at all?
Man, it's crazy. I guess because, guys see that office leader do a quote unquote holdout, or stand their ground. They wanted to stand their ground in contract negotiation as well. As much as I love J.K. Diamonds and I would love for him to be a Raven for a long time, right now he doesn't have no ground to stand on. To be doing a holdout, stand in, whatever it may be the case. I do feel like, if he plays this year and he stays healthy, Guapo Ace let the rookie play. I'm assuming you're referring to Keaton Mitchell, son of I forgot his father's name. But he was on the first He was on the first Super Bowl team for the Ravens.
He was Dayton Mitchell.
I don't know why I want to say Jamal Mitchell. Jamal Mitchell sound like a good name, but but I mean, honestly,
Anthony Mitchell.
Okay, great. But I'm interested in seeing what he can do. But me personally, I think I would go for a Zeke. I think Dalvin Cook goes to Miami. I feel like a Leonard Fournette, he goes to another NFC team where he doesn't have to be the feature back, but he still, puts up a good level of production. Maybe like a Seattle Seahawks type of squad, something like that. But, if things look a little rough, I don't know. We might have to see about, possibly trading away J.K. Dobbins. That's why when we did that previous episode about Danielle Hunter, if y'all didn't check that out, go ahead, make sure y'all check the YouTube page and, like, share, subscribe, and comment. I did, suggest possibly a Patrick Queen, J.K. Dobbins, maybe a future third, fourth round pick in that for Danielle Hunter. I know Danielle Hunter has his series of injuries as well, but, when you got somebody that's asking for money and he hasn't played a full season, granted, when he did get in the game, he showed a lot of promise. Like I said, you don't have a lot of ground to stand on right now, JK. And like I said, I love you, man. I love my running backs, but right now, if you're going to do that, I think we're going to have to go in another direction.
Yeah, and it's tough because obviously we all like JK, but it's a point where like he's demanding, right? He wants to get paid.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here as a Ravens fan do we want to bring him back? Like as much as I like the guy and I want to watch him play, I'm not a huge fan of paying running backs. If anybody remembers, I was upset when we extended Gus Edwards. I still stand by that statement. I didn't think that, paying a backup running back that you can replace late undrafted free agent, I don't think that it's necessarily worth it. And J.K. Dobbins, if you're going to potentially sit out to try and get a big contract, it's one thing if you're Saquon Barkley. It's one thing if you're, Ezekiel Elliott, when he got his big extension, he was sitting out. He was missing training camp. But you look back at that and you're like, okay, they led the league in rushing. Zeke led the league in rushing 2 of his first 3 years. Saquon Barkley was crazy dynamic right out the gate, multiple-time Pro Bowler. And it's like, okay, these guys are dominant forces. They're clearly needed by their team. Whereas JK is like, yeah, you're good, but you barely play. Like, you're not in a position of power to say, hey, pay me or I'm not going to play. The Ravens are like, we've played without you.
Yeah.
Like, Lamar can sit out. Marlon Humphrey can sit out. Mark Andrews would be able to sit out. Those are probably the only players right now that could be like, yeah, I'm not going to play. And the Ravens would have to be like, what do you need?
Oh, you can even throw in Marcus Stanley out there too, to a certain degree. Excuse me, I'm saying Marcus Ronnie. You can throw Ronnie Stanley out there.
Mixed up Marcus Peters and Ronnie Stanley. Marcus Williams.
I miss my boy MP. I know this Ravens defense is going to bring a lot of fire, but it ain't going to be the same without MP. Bringing out that extra dog though. But yeah, man. If he's going to hold out, I would say, we could be cooking with some hot grease. If you find a way to reach out to get Saquon Barkley, Saquon Barkley would not have to put on as much workload here as he does in New York.
Yeah,
that would be a very interesting move. Or we wait till the draft next year, get your boy out of Stanford, or get my guy out of Michigan. One or two options.
That's a Mama Harbaugh pick right there.
But you're going to get some great production out of Blake Corum. I'm about to say you're going to get some great production out of Blake, as long as he play like how he used to play. He ain't got to be no power back. We're going to have some power for him. He just play like he used to play. But Eli Huff, what do we need more, CB or pass rush? What you think, McConnell?
I'm a believer you build the defense through the pass rush, not the secondary. Yep. And I think our pass rush is worse than our secondary, so I'm going that both sides. I think that we need that edge rusher. I think not necessarily need, but if you're looking at this roster and what they could use the most, and I think it would be a veteran edge rusher. And it doesn't have to be a Pro Bowl edge rusher, but just somebody that can step in and get you some sacks, 5 sacks on the year, 7 sacks on the year, not 15, not 20, 7. And I think Justin Houston is that guy. Like, if we're being honest, Justin Houston is the exact type of player we need that can just get you 7 to 9. And we would be very happy with that.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna definitely agree with you, man. At the end of the day, they say Super Bowls are won in the trenches. We saw how what's his name? Oh my gosh, before Aaron Donald, that was in the Ndamukong Suh. Ndamukong Suh was very, he was a focal point of interior defense. Then Aaron Donald led that defense, to get that Super Bowl over Cincinnati Bengals. Then you had Dwight Freeney. Let's not forget those days. With Peyton Manning and company. And he had Robin Mathis on the opposite side of him. Even when New England Patriots were at the top of their high, they had our former Raven, Adelius Thomas. Working on that outside too. So, at the end of the day, when you see some of these Super Bowl teams, yes, they sometimes do have a high power offense, but you can't always win a championship without a strong defense. And that front seven is, the cream of the crop. When it comes to, and when it comes to Baltimore, we're known to having a strong front seven. So I definitely feel like, pass rush will be more significant to us, especially with, it being very thin because I did hear that Adafi will possibly play more outside linebacker. I know someone put out there about how many times he lined up as an outside linebacker. I don't think it hurt. I don't think it helped his growth as a player in the NFL. I think it hurt it. I think it hurt his growth as a player in the NFL more than anything because he looked like a chicken with his head cut off because he's not used to playing, up in that position as an outside linebacker. He's usually with his hand on the ground. So I definitely feel like we possibly need a veteran, maybe another guy that's under 30 that can still get a high level of production, maybe a Yannick Ngakoue. I definitely feel like pass rush is more important because at the end of the day, you still need those guys to get to the QB.
And I think it's funny you bring up it's one in the trenches, and a lot of people hear that and they may be like, "This ain't 2000. This ain't 80s football, right?" That's what people think.
Yeah.
Then you look back and you go, "Who are the best teams in the NFL?" Right? And you go, "Okay, last year Super Bowl matchup." Chiefs, Eagles. Chiefs, pretty good offensive line, and they have the second best defensive lineman in the NFL in Chris Jones. Oh, well, that's pretty good. And they have guys that can rush the passer.
Facts.
Then you look at the Eagles and you go, they have the best offensive line and they have the best defensive line in the NFL. And they got Fletcher Cox and they have Jordan Davis and they had Hassan Reddick and like four other players, Derek Barnett, I believe, like five other players. Elite across the board. And you're like, oh, wow, they were really good. Who's another team that's been really good in recent years? The San Francisco 49ers. Very good offensive line. Oh, and that defensive line was very good as well. They've had, Bosa. They've had Buckner. They've had D Ford when they made it to the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. They had D Ford, and he was one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. Again, and very good offensive line. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, when they beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, how did they beat them? Pass rush and a better offensive line. So it's like everyone's like, oh no, it's all about having those vertical passing threats, the speed, the crazy high-powered offense. You can't have a crazy high-powered offense. You can't have an explosive defense unless you have good trenches and you have a good offensive line. That's needed. Like whether or not that is the focus of the offense is besides the point. You still have to have it to have a good offense. And I saw a ranking. I can't remember whose ranking it was, but it was the top 5 offensive lines in the AFC.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs were in there.
Of course.
Like, makes sense. Ravens were in there too. Like the Ravens have a good offensive line. And so it's like, I think it was the Ravens, Chiefs, the Browns. I can't remember the other 2 teams that were in there, but I know those 3 were in there. And it's like, it's not focused on. The media is never going to be like, oh man, what a great game by the offensive line of the Kansas City Chiefs. Because great offensive line play, it doesn't mean they never got a sack. Like, I think people are like, oh man, great offensive line play means no pressures. That's not true. It's limiting pressures, right? It's not getting offensive holding penalties. Yeah. It's, maybe Myles Garrett gets through every once in a while, but that happens. It's not letting him get through every single time. It's getting those bigger holes to allow for those big runs. I don't think Isaiah Pacheco is a very good running back, but they have a pretty good offensive line. They've got, and they're able to get him in open space, and he's fast, and he just goes boom, hits it like a, hits it. I don't even know how to compare it. He hits it like freaking
like a torpedo,
the road runner. Like he just gets in there and he Sonic rolls his way through that hole. Like, I don't know. The offensive line in the trenches gets completely overlooked, I think, in the modern NFL because it's not focused on. And yes, they did have Eric Armstead.
Which one of those guys from the 49ers went to the Colts? Was it DeForest?
Yeah, Buckner did.
Man. I mean, they're growing, though.
Then they drafted Javon Kinlaw immediately after, and it was like a major bust because he can't stay healthy, and he sucks when he's on the field.
Oh, let's not forget who the Chiefs drafted too a year ago. Everybody was, calling us crazy for wanting him on the Ravens for outside rusher, George Karlaftis. I think he was doing pretty good in the playoff run, and even in the Super Bowl.
He looked pretty good. And it's funny, the year before they drafted Trent McDuffie, I believe. Or maybe that was last year as well. Maybe they drafted I think they also had McDuffie.
Yeah.
Also
yeah. And no. No, they also got oh my gosh, Josh Williams. He changed his number too.
You get everyone we like.
Oh man.
But I mean, you look at the best teams in the NFL, focusing on the offensive line is key for all of them. Look at the Bengals. What do? They signed Orlando Brown Jr.
Oh, I'm
Again.
looking forward to that.
That's true. That's true. I am looking forward to that. I want the revenge games.
And they signed they brought in the left guard from did he come from Collins? Did he come from Dallas?
I have no idea who they added at left guard.
It's like Leo
Bengals.
Collins, something like that.
Oh, did they add La'el Collins?
I think so.
Let's see here. Alex Kappa. They added Alex Kappa.
Okay.
And La'el Collins. Yeah, they added La'el Collins.
Okay.
Out of Dallas. A lot of additions to their offensive line. They got a lot better on that front. Let's see here. But like when you're looking at it, like somebody's asking, Wrong Siren says, if Washington really does let Chase Young walk and they share up the Ravens' big hard push to sign him. I disagree. I think Chase Young's a stud. He's one of my favorite players to watch in the NFL. I love edge rushers.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to get paid.
For sure.
And the Ravens need to pay some guys. And we need to save some money so we can pay them. Right? We got to figure out, okay, what are we doing at wide receiver? Hopefully, the goal is next year we go, Zay Flowers, you're our one, or Rashad Bateman, you're our one. You took that step. And then the other guy, Zay or Rashad, you're our number two. Boom. That's figured out.
Let me throw the monkey wrench. What if Laquan Treadwell can be Laquan Treadwell from Ole Miss? How do you feel about that?
I think I need to wake up from whatever dream that came from. I don't think he's. I think he'll make the team. I've said that before.
He will make the team.
I think, yeah. I think he's just like got that big body build that we don't have right now, and he at least has the experience to be able to play. I think he may be like 115 yards and a touchdown this year. Nothing crazy.
I mean, we're known for rejuvenating careers on all levels and all positions. When sometimes people be down and out, and then some players still be who they are, which is a little bit of nothing, whole lot of nothing. So I would love Deontay Demus to make that six make it on the depth chart as that 6 wide receiver and even move up. But who knows? We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's going to be really interesting because it's just like, we've obviously had the success stories of bringing in those people. We've also had the failures.
For sure.
And it's just like, all right, what's going to happen with it? Are we going to have the Jeremy Maclin? Are we going to have the Anquan Bolden?
Yeah, I was about to say Mike Wallace, more recent.
Mike Wallace, yeah, good one. I love Mike Wallace on the Ravens. I think a lot of people hate on it, but
it wasn't bad at all, honestly.
I think it was like the Ravens offense was just reliant on Joe Flacco passing the football, and everyone blamed Mike Wallace for it. And it was like, dude, it's just Joe Flacco. He's not that good. Like,
right. Times were catching up with him for sure.
And that was when we switched from being that run heavy approach, and it just started to become like the Joe Flacco throw for 4,000 yards. And it was like, this is not going to work. We need a running game. And it was like, we're going with Justin Forsett. And then we're going to go Alex Collins and then rely on the Mike Wallace passing game. It was like, dude.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Stop.
And then we didn't have Dennis Spiller no more. So, but was it the same year he got hurt on the first game or first or second game?
Let's
see.
He
literally opened up for a route and he went down. Like his hip. It was the same hip that he had surgery on.
Let's see here. I believe it was 2015 we had Mike Wallace. No, it was not. It was, I think, before that.
Okay.
2014 Mike Wallace. No, maybe it was after. Maybe it was 2016. Let's see here. Okay, 2016 we had Mike Wallace. Why do people hate on Mike Wallace? I've seen a lot of people saying Mike Wallace was a disappointment. He put up 1,000 yards.
That's not. I don't know. I don't know. They was expecting the Ravens wide receivers at that point.
72 receptions, 1,000 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's one of the best seasons in Ravens wide receiver history, right?
That's solid. I don't know. Quadre Ishmael would be approving of that, but hey.
Let's see here. Receiving yards. Who led the? Okay, so he was number 1. Steve Smith was the number 2. Then it was Dennis Pitta. Then Brashad Perriman. Then Kamar Aiken.
Oh man!
And Darren Waller at the bottom with 85 receiving yards. Oh nope, Chris Moore's below him. Shout out Chris Moore. The next year, Mike Wallace put up 748 receiving yards. And then Ben Watson was the number 2 receiver. And then Jeremy Maclin and then Buck Allen.
Yo.
And then Danny Woodhead was top 8.
Have you recently seen the tweet on Twitter? Like name the players that you forgot that was on the Ravens team?
Yeah. Or mine is still Le'Veon Bell.
Even
though it was last year.
Like Ben Watson's still one of mine. Like I totally forgot. Even Danny Woodhead, I forgot. Like, yo, it's really crazy how we get guys on the back end.
This team went 9-7. This team is atrocious. Hold on, I gotta look at the defense. The defense had to have been insane that year. Oh yeah, this defense was so good. C.J. Mosley, Peanut Owasso, Tony Jefferson, Eric Weddle, Matt Judon, Brandon Carr, Michael Pierce, Marlon Humphrey, Ladarius Webbs, Darius Smith. I think rookie Tyus Bowser. Let's see. Who was our kick returner that year? How do I find that? It was Michael Campanaro. 1 punt return touchdown. I remember that.
My guy. My guy when he helped.
No way. Griff Whalen in there. Hold on. Shout out to Griff Whalen. This is his brother. This is Ryan Whalen. I want to give a huge shout out to Ryan Whalen. This was one of the coolest things when I was a kid. But it's nice having all my collectible sports cards right next to me. But shout out to Ryan Whalen. I have a Ryan Whalen autograph collection.
Talk to them, Sean. And avoid Brandon Carr.
It's like 9 cards.
Brandon Carr sucked terribly. Like we literally knew where the touchdown was going to when Brandon Carr was in there.
Bro, shout out to Ryan Whalen. I got like so many of these. Huge shout out to Ryan Whalen.
That's crazy, man.
Stanford versions. I got so many of them.
My boy locked in, man.
Dude, legendary. Stanford wide receiver. But I met him because I don't know exactly how my uncle knew him, but he was going camping and he was borrowing camping gear from my uncle. Mm-hmm. And I met him and I didn't know who he was. I was just talking to him and I just like met him and he was like, "Hey, my name's Ryan." And I was like, "Oh yeah." And we were just talking. And then he asked me, he was like, "You a football fan?" I was like, "I'm a huge football fan." He's like, "Who's your favorite team?" I'm like, "The Ravens." He was like, "I'll play for the Bengals." And I was like, "Oh, that's tough." I was like, dang. Then he said his last name and I was like, "I know who you are. I watched you at Stanford the last like 3 years." But his brother, Griff, was the legend that was part of that horrible Indianapolis Colts fake punt. He was the guy that got the ball snapped to him, playing the quarterback or whatever. I don't even know what it was. He was under center. There were two guys in front of him, and he got the ball snapped to him. Yeah, that was his brother.
That's crazy, man. Oh man. When you think about this season, what adjective comes to your mind? Y'all drop
pressurized. I would go with pressurized.
Yeah,
There's a lot of pressure.
I'm nervous. I'm nervous for them too.
I'm nervous too because it's just like it could go so poorly, so easily. And everyone loves to clown on Ravens fans, and it's just annoying because it's like we get it. There's nobody more disappointed in the Ravens losing than Ravens fans, and people are like, "Man, the Ravens are so trash." Like, dude, we're saying the same thing.
Like they want to treat us like we're New York Jets or Giants fans. Like, of course, every fan base is going to want their team to go to the big game at the end of the day. But it's like, yo, we literally be right there. We just literally have so many hiccups throughout the season. It's like we just can't get right, you know. Mm-hmm. So I'm definitely nervous for this season because I feel like a lot of people with the new offense, the new wide receivers, you know, even with the defense, I feel like everybody is itching for a Super Bowl this year. I'm not. Like Tyler Monken has to get adjusted back to the NFL. He has to get acquainted with Lamar Jackson. We have to figure out who's going to be our featured running back. Because right now, even though, you know, got a couple of days before camp starts up again, I don't think it's going to be JK. I know people are saying Keaton Mitchell because of his speed. He's very elusive for sure. But not every speedy guy makes it that far in the NFL. And everybody's not a Tyreek Hill. Everybody's not a Chris Johnson. You know, those two great, superb level of talent right there. And then his defense.
Sometimes you get Dre Archer.
Yeah, that guy. You know, or you get, you know, the Black Mamba on the back end of his career too. Remember when we had DeAndre Thomas?
I do. I hate DeAnthony Thomas, or I hated him when he was in college. He was so good at Oregon.
I know, man.
It was so frustrating.
It was crazy. It was crazy, especially being in the Pac-12, right?
Yeah. And like all I had to hear about was DeAnthony Thomas is so good. And I remember, I believe this was DeAnthony Thomas, but first play of, I want to say it was the Fiesta Bowl against Kansas State. He returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown, and I was fuming. I was at a bowling alley. Everyone around me was Duck fans, and I was all in on Kansas State. And they just got clobbered. It was so brutal. They should not have been in that game. It was just like, oh, great. The Ducks back then? They'd win by like every game. It's like if they won by 40. Like they didn't win
they had
most
Marcus.
Games.
I
think it was right before. I think it was before Marcus Mariota. I think it was, Darren Thomas was the quarterback.
Okay.
But around that era of just like blowing everyone out of the water with Chip Kelly.
Who would have thought out of, you know, the Stedman Bailey, Tavon Austin, Geno Smith trio that Geno Smith would still be in the NFL playing?
That's true.
That's interesting, man. It's funny how life is, man.
It was Marcus Mariota was the quarterback.
Okay.
It was I think, hold on, what year was it? It was the Fiesta Bowl. It was the 2013 Fiesta Bowl. Sad.
That's tough.
Oh, well. Opening kickoff return for touchdown. RIP. Wrong Siren says Gus is going to be their RB1. He better not be. Gus is not good enough to be an RB1. I'm getting that out there. A lot of people call me a Gus bus hater. I think he's the number 2 running back in the NFL, and I don't think it's worth paying a number 2 running back. So like, I don't think he's good enough to be a number 1.
I feel like depending on how you use him, for the first 5 couple games, he can be a strong feature back. But then, he has been on the slope of injuries. He has gotten better. I can't say in regards to his speed. The good thing about him, he is a bruiser back. The thing about the NFL though, the bruiser backs they're not really showcased like they used to. I mean, granted, we got Derrick Henry and everything like that, but Derrick Henry is a stiff arm specialist. It's no more LeGarrette Blunts or the Peyton Hillis. We all seen those guys. They had their moments. The Brandon Jacobs, and even after Brandon Jacobs was with Ahmad Bradshaw, we saw the Jamal Lewis's. So hell, we even seen the Saquon Barkley show, and it's been going downhill. We saw AP. It's all about the shifty guys now. I definitely wouldn't mind it though. I mean, the great thing about it for Ravens history though, we have always made something shake in the backfield. Whether it was Ovi Mahaley, LaRon McClain, Willis McGahee, Justin Forsett, Alex Collins, Buck Allen, Lorenzo Taliaferro, rest in peace. The list goes on and on. Even Musa Smith. Musa Smith had some good games too behind Jamal Lewis, man. So I mean, it'd definitely be interesting to see. Damn, I still wish we had what's his name? Tight shot. But he got cut in Indianapolis too. So the problem must be him.
Yeah, maybe. Baltimore Get Up says you're not a Gus Bus hater. I appreciate it, Baltimore Get Up. I think I prefer to call myself a realist.
There's nothing wrong with that.
I want the Gus versus the Jet. That was a great play. It was like a 39-yard receiving touchdown. He caught it like a 10-yard pass, jumping on the sideline. Missed that. But that was just like that Ravens offense was with Greg Roman. It was so bad. It was just like scrambling every play. And Lamar just like made stuff happen.
Literally.
He would just back foot, 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, just huck it up. And it's like Willie Snead mosses a guy and then runs an extra 20 yards. And you're like, what is happening? Like, I never thought Willie Snead would moss anybody.
Yo, it was like always once in a blue moon.
Yeah. Brutal.
So, where do you think D-Hop officially goes? What team do you feel like he officially goes to?
I'm going with Cleveland.
That would be interesting.
I think they get the void years to work, and they go after D-Hop, and he pairs up with Deshaun Watson.
Do they beat out the Bengals in the AFC playoff hunt?
No, I think they both make the playoffs.
Sorry, Steelers.
And I think the Steelers missed the playoffs at 9-8.
Yo, that's crazy. I can see that happening though. They're rebuilding right now.
It's literally just like if TJ Watt plays, the Steelers can win. If he does not play, then the Steelers can lose.
This is true. This is very true.
It's the entire strategy of Pittsburgh.
Oh man, that's a great question. Lil said it.
Does Odell play over 13.5 games? Yes.
Yo, they're gonna load management Odell. Just like the Clippers do Kawhi.
Wait, not playing back-to-backs?
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have him for enough games this season, man.
How about Detroit for D-Hop? It's not a bad spot. Their quarterback sucks, but if they get Hendon Hooker starting, it would work really well. That's what I'll say.
Somebody would have to hurt Jared Goff then. Not wishing nothing bad on him, but that's what had to happen. But Detroit they're a growing team as well. They're giving me Eagles energy though, the way they come together and play for each other. If they can continue to grow around that and actually hold substantial games and actually win on a substantial level, you may look out for them in the next couple of years. And I like their coach too. He's a good guy. I like him.
Oh man. Let's see here. What's happening with Diggs in Buffalo? I think it's a smoke screen. I don't think anything too bad is happening. I think he's upset that he wasn't being given the ball a little bit more because he wasn't given the ball. It felt like down the stretch of games, I think they wanted to use Gabe Davis more, and it was like, Gabe Davis isn't that good. And they kept trying to give it to Gabe Davis, and it was like, dude, Gabe Davis is a pure deep threat. He's good at that. He's a good pure deep threat. Nothing wrong with that. But they were trying to turn Gabe Davis into like a T. Higgins level number 2 wide receiver. It's like borderline number 1. But in reality, it's like, dude, Stefon's your 1. Give it to him. And instead, I think it's just a little bit upset. But I think it's just also the offseason, and people are blowing things out of proportion. He missed like 1 practice.
Yeah, like literally folks get bored. They don't got nothing else to report. So I mean, they do what they do best, man. They try to put something together. But I mean, is Diggs in the right to feel upset? Hell yeah, he's one of the best wide receivers in that room. So I definitely can see why he would be fuming. You had your QB, talk to the press and try to calm down this situation. But at the end of the day, they don't have no running backs. So Stephon Diggs is always going to be part of the offense, So I think they got Dalvin Cook's little brother, James Cook. But I mean, outside of that, the Buffalo Bills are known for their passing game. And Stephon Diggs is always going to be a part of that offense, no matter how things may look on game day situations. But I definitely wouldn't feed into it too much. And it's something I ain't worried about until we face them. As long as he's not being utilized if we play them, I'm good.
Yeah. Parent over Diggs. I wanted Diggs. I'm not even from Maryland, and I wanted Diggs. I was like, Stephon Diggs is a beast in college. I was like, let's get him. And then they were like, no. Oh well.
People are really sleeping on like Maryland athletes. Like, I don't know why. Brian Breesy's about to be a dog in the NFL. I'm so glad we didn't get him though. I'm very happy we didn't get him.
We did not need him.
Like even Chase Young, he's a DeMatha high school kid, or either he went to good counsel, one of those. So like pretty much those like some of the big name high schools in the state of Maryland. Chase Young, he was one of those guys too, one of those trails. So
I don't think he was slept on though. I think people knew about him. Second overall pick.
You can't sleep on that. If you slept on that, like man, listen, we gotta talk to your recruiting board, man. We gotta talk to your scout team, man. See what's going on.
Oh man. Is there anything else you want to talk about tonight, Joshua?
I was just about to ask him, when's the NBA draft?
That would be tomorrow.
Oh, Victor's not getting drafted number 1 then.
Where's Victor going? If he's not going 1, where are you going?
I don't know. Who got number 1?
San Antonio.
Never mind. Take that back.
That's the exact play they go after.
Greg Popovich is coming out of retirement. I thought he gave over the coaching reins to the young lady.
Nah, they were talking about it because when his wife died, he was considering retirement, or like he was like they were talking about him retiring, and he just like last year he said he was like coaching these younger players has made me fall in love again with the game of basketball, and it's so much fun to coach. So he's back. He's gonna stay coaching, and I think he's excited for Wemby.
All right, well, hey,
I mean, who wouldn't be excited for Wembanyama? Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, I guess
Scoot Henderson's not very excited about it, but
I mean, he's still gonna get paid regardless.
Yeah, he's gonna get paid, and he's gonna go to a great spot. So I'm not worried about it.
For sure,
It's gonna be a beast.
We got. I guess we can take this last question about Ron Siren.
Yeah, that's a good question. Would you resign Zyler, OBJ, JK, or Madubuike? None. I'm fine with losing all of them. Like, I think Madubuike, I would resign the most. I think he's the best one. He's still young. He's not going to get too much money. I'm fine with resigning him, but I'm not resigning JK. I'm probably not resigning OBJ. I mean, he's just going to cost a lot. In Zeitler, he's good, but I really like Voorhees, and I think Ben Cleveland. He's a right guard. That's what he played in college. That's what he played in high school. That's what he was known for. Is he's a right guard. I think he's going to play right guard for the Ravens, and Voorhees will play left.
Yeah, I definitely it would have to be Madubuike for me. I feel like this will be Michael Pierce last year, but I feel like Madubuike, he has constantly shown that he can contribute in a lot of ways, and I feel like with Travis Jones being able to get on the field too, we're going to see a lot more of Madubuike eating a lot. So if Madubuike has a great year, which I feel like he does, I don't feel like he's at the level of Aaron Donald yet. I see us actually re-signing him. Unfortunately, with JK, if he sits out this year, I don't see him coming back. OBJ, I don't know what type of energy he's going to be on in regards to money. But if he has a great year, I don't see us paying going high on the offensive side for on skill guys. We've never really done it except QB. And Zeitler, he's on the. I'm not going to say he's declining, but he's on the back end. But you got young guys that's in the room, like you said, Ben Cleveland, Voorhees. I mean, Voorhees is literally a future guy that we're looking for. Anytime you can still have an injury and still push out as many reps as he did at the combine. That speaks to a lot of determination and just his talent and his dedication. So they're not bringing in guys just to keep them constantly having them sit on the bench and be a depth piece. No, they're bringing in younger guys to freshen up this regime. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think this makes sense, Paul, to forget up.
For sure. Like it's only right. I mean, even with Morgan Moses, like Daniel Falele is going to be the next right tackle for the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
So yeah, man.
All right, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming through. Make sure to subscribe for Daily Ravens content. We're going to try and do more streams a little bit more often, and we'll have more notice for when they do happen. But thank you all so much for coming through, and we'll see all of you again next time.